Alrighty students, it's Mr. Arevalo with a brand new lesson, and for today's lesson we're going to be focusing on box 1, 10.6, line symmetry. Okay, and symmetry is spelled S-Y-M-M-E-T-R-Y, line symmetry. Okay, and for today's mathematical practice, or MP, I want us to focus on MP5, which is strategically used tools, which simply means that we can solve problems using different strategies that we're aware of, okay, and when we need to, we're going to use the correct tools based off of the problem, okay, and based off of what it's asking you to do. Going into box 3, our purpose, today we will determine whether a figure has a line of symmetry. Give you some time to write that down. Alrighty, on the snap, you know what to do, starting with the word today in 3, 2, and today we will determine whether a figure has a line of symmetry. Okay, and by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, this is one of my favorite lessons. It's a pretty awesome lesson. I hope you guys enjoy it, okay? Going into box 4, APK, right? Activating our prior knowledge from the previous lesson. I want you to draw and label the figure described. So going into our first APK problem, I have line AB and line CD intersecting at point Z, okay? At point Z. So what we are going to do is, obviously, we're going to draw this. Let's hopefully you guys remember how to draw this. I'm going to draw my line, one line, draw my other line, intersecting, right? I'll put my points. This is going to be point A. This is going to be point B. This is going to be point C. And this is going to be point D. Going into right here in our middle, okay, this is going to be our intersecting point, right? This is the part where the two lines intersect, or where they cross, and that's going to be my point Z. I'll kind of highlight it right there in green so you can see. That is where the two lines intersect, okay? Going into our next APK problem, I have line JK, which is parallel to line LM. Okay, so parallel, remember, I can put them going in vertical form like this, or they can be in horizontal form, okay? It doesn't matter as long as they are parallel. Put my 2 points inside of them. Don't forget the points, okay? J, K. This is going to be L. This is going to be M. Okay, and remember, it could also look like this, but obviously if you did it like that, you would also have to include the points inside of it, okay? So remember that. Alrighty, hopefully you were able to get those APK problems. They're pretty simple for the most part. Alrighty, going into our box 5, our vocabulary terms. Our first new vocabulary term, okay? We have a new one right here. The other two are similar ones, but this first one is new. Okay, so your first word, line symmetry. Line symmetry, and this is when a shape can be cut, or we can say split, can be cut in half, okay, when a shape can be cut in half perfectly with two equal parts, okay? Line symmetry, one more time. When a shape can be cut in half perfectly with two equal parts. For example, get a different color right here so we can highlight this. So over here on the right side, I have a triangle, and straight down the middle of the triangle, I have a line that's cutting right through it, okay? That line is splitting the triangle into two equal pieces, okay? Kind of like when you fold a paper and you get the two equal pieces, you can kind of see that this side right here, all of this yellow part, okay, all of this is going to be equal to, we're going to say all of this blue part right here, okay? You can kind of more or less see the two equal parts that are right there, okay? That's when I cut it right in the middle with this red line, okay? Kind of keep that in mind. Alrighty, okay? Going into our next vocabulary term, we have parallel lines, P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L, parallel lines, okay? Parallel lines are lines that are always the same distance apart and never touch, okay? So for example, I have these two lines right here. You can see one line right here, one line right here. These lines will always be the same distance apart, okay? Always the same distance apart. For infinity, these lines go on forever and ever and ever, and no matter how much they go on, they will never touch, okay? Lastly, our next vocabulary term is going to be perpendicular, right? Perpendicular. I know it's kind of hard to fit it in, so just try your best. Perpendicular lines, okay? Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect or cross. It doesn't really matter. You can say one or the other. Cross / intersect to form right angles, okay? Perpendicular lines, one more time, lines that cross / intersect to form right angles. So kind of keep in mind that with perpendicular lines, you'll have one line going straight up and down, then you have one line going straight across that. And then inside of it, okay, there will be 4 right angles. You guys can see right angles, right angles, right angles, okay? So those two lines, when they cross, they make those perpendicular lines. So inside, they're right angles, which means inside they're 90 degrees, okay? Kind of keep that in mind. Going into our next box, which is box 6. This is our critical attribute, or the main component of today's lesson. For step 1, we are going to look at the shape. This is a robot, obviously. Mr. Revlo, that's not a shape. That is a robot. A robot is a shape. Okay, so any object, any item, we can say is a shape. Okay, if we can, kind of see it right there. So we have this robot. Step 1 just says we're going to look at it. Step 2, we're going to draw a vertical or a horizontal line through the shape to test for line symmetry. So basically what I'm doing, you guys can see right here, there's a black little line with arrows going straight down the robot, okay, going vertical up and down. And what that line is telling me is that the shape, the robot, is being split into 2, okay? And when we split it like that, I get 2 equal parts. However, sometimes the shape, you may be able to cut it like this, like in vertical form, okay? But sometimes you may have to try a different way, okay? So for example, another way of drawing a line through it would be horizontal, so it would look something like this, okay? However, if I were to cut this shape in horizontal format, right, like this, and I folded it based off of that, okay, I folded it into 2 pieces, it would not equal 2 equal parts, okay? I would have the head and the feet, touching, but they wouldn't be equal. The other way, right, if I cut it vertically, let me just kind of erase this. If I cut it vertically, okay, it does produce 2 equal parts. It produces the left side of the robot. Watch, I'll just put an L, and then it produces the right side of the robot, okay? But both of those sides are equal. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. So, if 2 equal parts, then we write yes. If 2 not equal parts, then we write no, okay? Or we can say 2 unequivalent parts, then we can say no, okay? But yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. If it has 2 equal parts, you write yes. If it does not have 2 equal parts, then you write no. Okay, pretty simple, right? But just kind of keep in mind that for the most part, I think in your homework, the line of symmetry is already drawn for you. So basically, you just have to look at that line and tell Mr. Revelo, is it a line of symmetry? Yes, or is it not a line of symmetry? Okay. And remember, line of symmetry, one more time, just means that when you cut an object in half, it produces two equal parts. Okay. So going into box 7, our example, tell if the dashed line appears to be a line of symmetry. Alrighty, well, if I'm looking at our first example, I have the letter V, okay, and horizontally going across it, right, I have my line of symmetry. And what they're saying is, if we were to cut that V shape right across the middle of it going horizontally, would it produce two equal parts? And the answer is no. Okay, this is not a line of symmetry. Okay, because when we fold it, you're going to have the two ends of it, okay, these ends, and then you're going to have this end. So it would not equal two equal parts. So kind of keep that in mind. Going into our next shape, which is an O shape or a zero shape, I have a line of symmetry going straight down the middle, vertically, just like that. So is this, when it cuts the shape in half like this, does it produce two equal parts? And the answer is yes, okay? I have, again, my left side and I have my right side. I put an L and an R, okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Pretty simple, though. Going into box 8, our non-example. Where is the mistake at? Alrighty, give you some time to go ahead and talk to your partner, try to figure out. They're saying that you have a star right here, and they drew a line, okay, obviously, the line of symmetry going straight down it, okay, vertically, and they're saying that that is not, okay, a line of symmetry, that when you draw that little line across it, it does not equal two equal parts. And obviously, this is a mistake, okay, because when we draw this line going straight down it, it does equal two exact pieces. We have our left piece right here and our right piece right here. Okay, those are equal. If we were to fold it, there wouldn't be any parts left over. Okay, everything would fold perfectly. Okay. Great job on getting that, class. Going into box 9, our critical attribute, the connection steps. Step 1, we are going to look at the shape, right? Let's go ahead and look at the shape. That's our first thing. First step, I should say. Step 2, we are going to draw a vertical, and I'll just draw a line. Okay, vertical, this means vertical, slash horizontal, you guys can draw these two. That way you remember what vertical and horizontal is. Line through the shape, to test for line symmetry, okay? But luckily for you guys, really, they've already drawn the line of symmetry for you, okay? But just in case they haven't, then you would have to try to draw it, okay? Going into step 3, if two equal parts, write yes. If two parts that are not equal, then we write no, okay? Okay, if we have two parts that are not equal, then we write no. Going on into our box 10 sample problems, okay? So right here it says, tell if the dashed line appears to be a line of symmetry. So we have some different shapes right here, okay? So I have this birthday cake, and for this birthday cake, there's a line of symmetry going straight across it horizontally, and we have to tell if that line of symmetry is actually a line of symmetry, okay? Or what I should say is this dashed line, if it is a line of symmetry, right? That's better. So this is not going to be a line of symmetry. This is going to be no, okay? The reason is because if I cut this cake into two equal pieces based off of this, I have the two candles up here. Down here, I don't have any candles, okay? So when I fold it, it's not going to equal two equal parts. Going into our next dashed line, okay, it's right here, cutting this poor little dog in half. Ruff, ruff. Okay. When I draw the line vertically going down it, this also does not, okay, produce, this is not a line of symmetry, okay? Why? because if I were to cut it like that, I would have the head over here and the tail over here. So when I folded it, it would not be two equal parts because of those things, okay? So kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at the shape. You have to look at all the details of the shape, okay? So going into box 11, our recap. Today we determined whether a shape had, I should say had, right? Today we determined whether a shape had a line of symmetry. Okay. Going into our collaborative work and homework. For your collaborative work, I want you to focus on the share and show problems 1 through 8 and 16 on pages 423 through 424. For homework, you are to do all of 10.6, okay, front and back. With that said, I hope you found this lesson simple, easy, and that you enjoyed it. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Bye.